Liebe Festgemeinde, hey! Welcome to the first character study, today with our favorite frog lady, Tote. In this first part, you can expect information, tips and tricks. In the second, you'll find builds and even forbidden infinite combos, so that your dependence on the dreaming tree does not drive you mad. And off we go! Short disclaimer. This video is based on patch 1161. However, it is quite possible that Tote will be changed more extensively in the future, in which case there will of course be a new video. In contrast to other heroines and heroes in Backpack Hero, Tote does not mainly work with items in her backpack, but with so-called carvings, which function similarly to a deck of cards. Each round, new carvings are drawn from the deck, which Tote can then play into her backpack. Some effects trigger during play, some items can be used, others trigger when they are removed from the backpack. As this is of course somewhat less flexible and predictable than the conventional Backpack Hero principle, the items are generally a bit stronger. This has the effect that Tote's deck can feel incredibly strong in one battle, only to be defeated without the slightest chance in the next. This naturally causes frustration. In addition, the much-loved principle of sorting and arranging the backpack is noticeably pushed into the background. But we are not here to discuss the problems, we are here to find solutions, right? Let's take a closer look at Tote's toolbox. Picking Tote comes with a decent advantage: 80 hit points on standard difficulty. This compensates to a certain extent for the unpredictability of Tote's kit, especially at the beginning of the run when you still have to find a suitable build. The backpack starts with 3x3 slots and can be improved when leveling up according to the same principle as with Purse. With Tote, however, it can have advantages if you keep the backpack small, but more on that later. Tote starts with 7 carvings in her deck: 3 oak stumps, 3 spiky carvings and 1 gem carving. In other words, something to block, something to attack and a kind of buff. In combat, Tote draws 5 carvings from a deck each round. If there are not enough carvings in the deck, the discard pile is shuffled into it. All carvings that are discarded from the backpack end up in the discard pile, unless they are banished. Tote summons carvings by placing them in the backpack. In addition to the option of reorganizing the backpack for 3 energy, Tote can also throw all carvings in the backpack at the opponent with toss for 1 energy. Depending on the number of carvings, this causes damage and the carvings are discarded or banished. Incidentally, banished means that the carving is no longer available for the rest of the combat and will become available again after the combat. Summoning, discarding and banishing carvings can all be used to shape the deck and the combat behavior. But surely you already knew that, right? In addition, Tote can also carry a few fixed items in her backpack, in particular relics, mana stones, consumables and accessories. However, these are not affected by the discard mechanic. Now we know how Tote works. But just because you know what an engine looks like, you're still not a mechanic. So let's take a look at what we need to get Tote through the dungeon successfully. With every additional carving in our deck, the probability of drawing a specific one of them decreases. So we better think twice before picking up an item that doesn't really suit our build. While you can sprinkle in something with other characters, we risk a bad hand with Tote. This becomes all the more important when we consider that we cannot simply throw away carvings and unfortunately cannot sell them in the store either. Nevertheless, the store still has an important function for Tote. We don't get any gold for our carvings in the magic store, and we can't sell the few fixed items either. On the contrary, to get rid of carvings, we even have to pay gold. But to be honest, that's gold well spent. Removing carvings costs 5 gold for the first, 10 for the second, 15 for the third, and so on. However, the costs are calculated separately for each store. It is therefore worth checking before each floor change whether you want to remove anything else from the deck. In addition, the store offers an important opportunity to steer your own build in the right direction. In order to put together a deck that can keep up in the third area, we have to make sure we get the right items early on. As described in the video shown, items are assigned to specific groups, and the game increasingly offers us items that match the groups of our items in the backpack or deck. Sometimes it even makes sense to take an item that you don't want to include in the final build in order to get the items we want later on. Then we just have to save enough gold to get rid of carvings we don't want to keep. However, we can also influence our start very specifically. An old hare sits at the entrance to the dungeon and has gifts ready for us. Of the 3 options Matthew offers us, the rare item should be treated with caution. Often this is completely useless or has fewer advantages than disadvantages. On the other hand, this is perhaps the most interesting option if you just want to try something out. As there are comparatively few relics available for Tote, we have a good chance of obtaining one that is of interest to us. These relics can be an important piece of the puzzle in the build. Some builds only work if we have certain relics with us, so this option is actually very good. If you want to play it safe, then we ask for an item set, because there's only one and it's really good. The item set includes a mossy mace, which is not a carving and can be placed directly in the backpack, plus 4 acorn caps for block. These items alone are enough to conquer the first and possibly even the second area, but are above all an insanely good stepping stone into other builds. While mace and caps do the work, we can get the carvings we want. In addition, we only have to get rid of 4 carvings if we no longer need them later. The mace can stay for a long time and offers a strong additional source of damage in many builds. Phew, that was a lot of information about our magical frog lady. And a lot of talk about builds. We'll be looking at exactly these builds in part 2, so be sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss out. And while you're at it, leave a like and a comment. Until then, liebe Festgemeinde, hey! Have a good time, take care, bye.